Yeah, looks like it's going to work. Looks like we'll be live on YouTube. Interesting. So just experimenting with these things at this point.
Hmm.
All right, welcome everybody. We're back for our Friday meditation group workshop. The purpose to repeat. Looks like it's going to work. I think
Live on YouTube.
interesting.
So just
There,
experimenting
there
with
I
these
am on
things at this
YouTube.
point.
Hold on. Let me.
All right, welcome.
Here we go. So one more step is I have to mute that video. All right. So hey, again, welcome to our 4 p.m. Friday meditation workshop. The purpose of this workshop is to just be a weekly reminder to remind you why you're meditating in the first place, what it feels like, deep breathing, alignment, because the rest of the week it's your job to be meditating throughout the week as well. Nobody's going to, tap you on the shoulder and tell you it's time to meditate. That's your job. But no matter what happens during the week, no matter how crazy or chaotic or successful or unsuccessful your week was, every Friday we spin the wheel again and give you new momentum and get you back aligned. And that's what we're here for every week. And the word meditation is really like not the right word. Words mask the energy. They mask a larger reality. The word meditation is not really a sufficient word. So if we take that word off, what we're really trying to accomplish is to bring ourselves into balance and alignment throughout the day, all day. And the only way to do that is to establish steady, new routine. So simply plugging into this meditation workshop once a week, even if you didn't do any other meditation work, I don't advise that. I advise you to meditate every day, morning and night, if you can. But even if you don't, just this once a week, it doesn't seem like a lot because there's 6 days and 23 hours before you have to come back to the next one. That's a long time to get lost and, go on a roller coaster ride and be unbalanced and unaligned. But I want you to start looking at the longer picture. Look at the next, say, year. You're going to come to this workshop 52 times. By the time you're here 6, 7, 8 times, you're a veteran. You've been back and you've touched this and drinking from this fountain of knowledge again and again and again. It's nice if you can do it every day and build that up for 3 years. That'd be great. But even if it's only this one little gentle meditation session that you do, even if that's all you do, it's enough to start a new rhythm, to start a new habit, to start, to just build something new, to a rhythm, a balance, an alignment, a habit, a routine. And that's the goal. The goal is not meditation. Meditation is kind of the word that we use to describe it, but what the real goal is beyond meditation. It's to find a way to anchor this peace, this balance, this bliss, alignment, whatever you want to call it, whatever you're experiencing. The goal is to anchor this over a long period of time. The book that I wrote, just showed it before, it's meditation for life, not meditation for the next couple of weeks. Meditation for life. You're transforming yourself. If you look at your life stream, we'll do a little life stream work today. When you look at your life stream, if you don't do anything differently, your life stream is just going to go on and on and on just the way it's been. But if you sprinkle, like I say, even just once a week, but more is better. The more you plug into the collective, the more you're in the chat, the more you're watching the videos, the more live events you go to, you're planting little seeds and your life stream slowly, you don't recognize it at first, but slowly your life stream starts to change direction to a higher timeline, a happier timeline, healthier, more abundant, more aligned, balanced. And you become a meditator. You become aware of higher consciousness ways of thinking. You become healthier. You start making healthier decisions. It's a process. So anyone that says, come to my, weekend workshop and you're going to be fixed, well, you feel really good for the weekend. You'll feel really good for an hour, but you have to continue it. And even like I said, just even 1 hour a week coming here is important. We're going to do today the fourth dimensional meditation. It's meditation number 4, guided meditation number 4 in this book, Meditation for Life. And we're going to essentially travel to the fourth dimension. And I want to, when we're finished with that, it'll be a nice, peaceful, blissful feeling. On the back end of this meditation, I want to talk a little bit more about a particular topic, hypnosis. And I want you to understand hypnosis as it relates to the work we're doing with this multidimensional model that we're working with. So, and again, everyone, welcome Lance. It's our first day. We have some other folks that are newer, but they're already veterans. Raj and Nina been here for a while, and we've got all our veterans back, Carolyn and Jane and John, and where I forgot Josh, he's here too. So, and Brian's here with the B. So we've got a good mix. And one of the challenges that we have as a collective is how do we take brand new people? Because those of us who've been doing, I've been doing this for years. Many of you have been, working with me for the last maybe 3 or 4 months. And you kind of have this experience. You've kind of woven this into your life stream. You've woven these habits into your daily life. And here comes new people, and new people have no anchor in the work that we're doing. They all come with their own experience, their own background, their own expectations, their own beliefs, their own reasons for joining the collective in the first place. So one of the challenges that we have, and when it's one of our main goals as a collective, is to really get excellent at welcoming in new people. We've got a way to go. We're got really, really good at welcoming in new people and onboarding them in a sequence or a process where they can feel gently, where they can start to plug in a gentle way. And again, some people are looking for something more intense, immediate, like tell me what I'm supposed to do right now. I want to do everything because I'm all excited right now in the beginning. We're kind of a more gentle, flowing wavelength. So somehow we've got to learn how to take new people in, which we'll start to get a lot more new people in the coming months. We've got to learn how to take random people in with random headspace and kind of anchor them or align them in the work that we do and kind of get them into the flow. And so we're learning how to do that, and it's something we're aware of and we're going to get better at over time. And all of us now, have to keep that in mind and be aware of that. So without further ado, let me share my screen and I will play the fourth dimensional meditation. So I'll just let it speak for itself. All right. This is a 13-minute meditation. So we're in here for the long haul. Let's relax.
Welcome to the fourth dimensional awareness meditation. I remind you that you're doing sacred work just by being here. You may not see results immediately, but be assured you are creating new patterns and opening yourself to new understanding. Relax completely. Let go of the rush. Turn away from the outside world. Be present right here because I want you to feel the fourth dimension for yourself. Let's imagine we're on a plane, ready for takeoff. You have a window seat. The plane starts down the runway, accelerates, and now it lifts off into the air, climbing higher. You see highways with cars rushing back and forth, the city beneath you. And soon the plane ascends into the clouds where it gets dark and gloomy. The windows are streaking with mist. But the plane keeps rising, and suddenly you break through the top of the clouds. And what do you see above the clouds? Blue sky all around you, 360 degrees, limitless, expansive in all directions. This is the fourth dimension. Above you, a brilliant sun, the fifth dimension of pure light. And below, you see the top of the clouds. Now those clouds below, that's mind. You see, the third dimension is the dimension of mind. We live in a mental universe, and everyone below the clouds is operating under subconscious routine. People don't really know where they're going. They don't know why they're going, but they're always in a big rush. But in the fourth dimension, you are above mind. You choose your next thought. You choose your next word. You choose your next action. You are a sovereign being of light. The fourth dimension is frictionless, completely independent of the problems of the third dimension. From here, you can still see those problems, but they no longer affect you. You can look down and see your body. Look at yourself right now, sitting there with your eyes closed. That's not you. It's an avatar, a temporary projection. You are light, limitless, boundless. Notice something important. Your body doesn't move. Think about it. Your body has no mind of its own. It has no agenda. It won't move until you tell it to move. It's waiting for your command, and in the absence of your command, it reverts to its subconscious programming, following the story that you've accepted for yourself. But in the fourth dimension, you can train that avatar and guide it with clear instructions. There's nothing you can't change because the fourth dimension is limitless. There are no boundaries to your imagination. Another important thing to notice about the fourth dimension is that you are now above time. You can actually see how the universe operates in longer rhythms and cycles. You can see your own life stream goes back to the time you were born, millions of threads woven together, all the people and experiences you've ever had, all your past choices, all woven together into a thread or a cable. And you can clearly see how your life stream has developed and how it comes right now to the present moment. And from this higher vantage point, it's obvious that if you don't do anything differently, if you don't change anything, your life stream will continue on basically as it has. And you can see where it's leading. But in the fourth dimension, you can plant seeds into that avatar that will grow and change the trajectory of your life stream. What kind of seeds am I talking about? New habits, like daily meditation, new routines, new values and principles to live by, positive self-talk, new thoughts, ideas, and perspectives. See, all these little seeds planted consistently over time create a new timeline. And in that timeline, in that new reality, guess what? You're healthier, more fulfilled. Not by chance, but because of the intentional effort that you put in today. Plant seeds into the avatar and watch them bear fruit in their own time, because now you're working with the universal rhythms of time instead of fighting against them. You're no longer trapped in the matrix. You're now watching that person from above, like a character in a storyline that you now can control. You can't completely remove yourself from the third dimensional matrix, but you can stop pretending that it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. You were born into a story, and the people who told you that story truly believed it. Why? Because they didn't know any better themselves. And from that story arose your identity and thousands of subtle and not so subtle expectations about the life you're supposed to live, and the labels and the judgments on the people who live differently. You see, you were told that happiness comes from fitting into that story. But the more you tried to follow the story, the more unaligned and unfulfilled you felt. You see, you sacrificed. You were told that happiness comes from fitting into that story. But the more you tried to follow the story, the more unaligned and unfulfilled you felt. You sacrificed your authenticity in the search for happiness in somebody else's story. Now you must wake yourself up from that story. See yourself for who you truly are. You live in a deep comfort zone, asleep. Your life is happening, but you're not even paying attention. But in the fourth dimension, you are awake. And these new patterns that you're creating aren't tied to what has been in the past. They're not anchored to the limitations of old third dimensional stories and beliefs. You have unlimited power in the fourth dimension, but there is a limitation. You have the power to change anything about yourself, but you can't change anyone else. It's not that kind of power. It's a personal sovereignty. You can't change your husband or your kids. You can't change politics. You can't fix other people. In fact, the more energy you spend trying to fix, convince, and explain everything, the more tightly you bind yourself to the third dimensional experience. It's hard enough to get out of your own comfort zone, and you want to. Let go of the idea of fixing everyone else. They're just like you. They're on their own journey, and they have the power to change themselves at any time if and when they want to change. Besides, you can't ask others to make radical change in their lives until you've already done the hard work to change yourself. Because in this fourth dimension, you can only control you. And that's exactly what I'm asking you to do. Give that avatar new positive habits and routines, and train that avatar every day to make better, healthier decisions. Now, one more thing I want to explain about this fourth dimension is that you can see into the future. You're above time. Now, of course, you can't see the particulars of the future, but for example, you can see how your life stream comes to the present moment, and you can also see that it's going to continue on. So you can swipe time forward 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, and build a picture in your imagination of what your life will be like in the future. Do you imagine being healthier in the future? Of course you're going to be healthy in the future, but that's not going to happen by itself. You need to start planting the seeds today to begin that health change. Who are you surrounded by in the future? Are those relationships balanced and happy? Again, that's not going to happen by itself. You need to plant seeds today that make your relationships happier and more balanced. We all want a better future, but it doesn't come by hoping, wishing, or praying. Change comes by being that person today. And that means not just thinking like that person, but taking new actions today, even if they disrupt your comfort zone, especially if they disrupt your comfort zone. Small, consistent actions over weeks and months are the key to your transformation. And now you know the secret. Nobody's playing defense. There's blue skies all around. Nobody's stopping you from being healthy. Nobody's stopping you from being happy, optimistic, and abundant. Well, actually, there is someone playing defense. It's your subconscious. Your subconscious is like gravity. It pulls you down into a deep comfort zone and to do the same things over and over again. It resists change. But look down at that three-dimensional world. Is that the reality you really want for the rest of your life? You're here because you want something better. And now you know that it's possible. And that's going to require you to make some changes. But don't look at discipline as a problem or an obstacle. Understand that discipline today is what gives you freedom in the future. You're building an entirely new energetic template that's going to define your future, not tied to only what's been possible in the past, not anchored to the limitations of old third-dimensional stories and beliefs that have never really served you, but an energetic template that's built now on limitless possibilities. Because in the fourth dimension, you're free to create a new future. Blue skies in all directions, no limits, frictionless. Now, the problems of the third dimension didn't go away. They just don't affect you here. Because here in the fourth dimension, your only job is to become a better human being by training that avatar, anchoring new habits and routines, and building the life you desire. The outer world will try to pull you back, but truthfully, there's no one holding you back. Today, you have activated a new paradigm. You've entered a new dimension and released an entirely new aspect of yourself where you have the power of choice.
I want to share a couple more thoughts about this frictionless fourth dimension. I said I was going to talk about hypnosis. You're all familiar with hypnosis. Um, when I first saw it was probably 30 years ago. They would bring a few people up on stage, hypnotize them. One would have to bark like a dog. The other one, they could make you start sweating. They could make you cold. They could literally give you any suggestion and you would just do it. And now that I understand this, what they were doing is your body, your arms are getting heavy, your eyes are getting heavy. Listen to my voice, and your body lets go, but your consciousness is still there. And now this voice is drawing you up to it. It's still talking to you. The voice is still talking to you, but your body is no longer along for the ride. You're unconscious. So hypnosis is arising to this fourth dimension in an unconscious state. We just rose to the fourth dimension in a conscious state. We intentionally did it. We flipped our mindset. We rose above the clouds. We started to look at our own life in a different perspective. We rose to the fourth dimension consciously. But hypnosis is rising to the fourth dimension unconsciously with a voice. And this voice can take you anywhere it wants to go. Just listen to my voice. Bark like a dog. This voice could tell you, stand up and sing in front of 1,000 people. That would be something that person down there would never do. But in the fourth dimension, you stand up and you sing in front of 1,000 people because you're not connected to the body. You're not connected to the dimension of mind. You're not connected to your subconscious in any way. So the voice can take you along on any journey. The difference is when we rise to the fourth dimension, we're listening to our own voice. So what we have to learn to do is try to let go of the limitations and have this voice start to talk to us from a higher plane. Like listen to this voice up higher, because the higher voice is going to pull you up into new possibilities. The lower voice is going to tell you to do good things, but it's limited by what you're already experiencing. I don't know if that makes sense. I see it pretty clearly myself. I don't know if I explain that clearly in a way that makes sense. But when you're hypnotized, you are in the fourth dimension, and then you're following the instructions. Here, we're rising to the fourth dimension, and I'm telling you, I call the fourth dimension the dimension of journaling. This is where you're going to write down your new habits. This is where you're going to write down your affirmations. I'm the kind of person who makes time every day for my meditation. I'm the kind of person who stretches and breathes and makes time for health. I'm the kind of person who makes new healthy decisions. This is where you can program yourself or reprogram yourself with new habits, new routines, entirely new thought frameworks like the thought matrix or optimistic thinking instead of pessimistic thinking. In the third dimension, when you're in your own life stream, imagine you're in your life stream, the world's just coming at you. And all you can do is just, dodge and duck and try to get through the world like in a roller coaster. Try to deal with everything that's happening to you. In the fourth dimension, it's different. Those things are happening, but you're not connected to them right now. You're disconnected from them in the same way as if you're hypnotized. You're in a different dimension. It's a frictionless dimension. So all the things that are going on down here don't disrupt your fourth dimensional point of view or your fourth dimensional experience or meditation. And here is where you need to proactively decide your future. This is where you can literally create your future, not by changing the stock market or changing world events or changing your family or changing your kids. None of that. By simply identifying a new future state that you want. Let's use health as an example. I want to be healthier in 5 years. Like I said, it doesn't happen just because you said so. It happens starting today. You start to make little, small improvements every day. Little improvements, small wins. And these small wins over time make you healthier. Definitely healthier than you were a few days ago. You still don't notice it, but a few weeks from now, you know, wow, I'm eating better. I am deep breathing. I'm exercising. This is great. A few months from now, you're way healthier than you were. A few years from now, you're nothing like the person you are today. You've completely transformed yourself. You've established for yourself a different timeline. So I also want to talk about timelines. You've heard that all timelines, zillions of timelines are happening in parallel. Let me explain what that means. Imagine that you're in a very narrow corridor, and on one side is a wall, a really infinitely large wall with millions of doors. Okay, you didn't come through any of those doors. You came through this door right here. And this door brings you into this present moment. So here I am in this present moment. And on the right-hand side, on the other side of the hallway, are millions and millions of doors I could go through. If I don't do anything differently, I'm just going to keep opening the next door and the next one and the next one, and my life stream will continue without change. But in the present moment, if you can change your programming, change the input, change your habits and routines, make commitments, go to the accountability portal, say, I am going to meditate every day. I don't care what happens for the next 7 days. I will make 10 minutes a day to meditate. Be accountable, like make real change, because if you can change the present moment, look, I can't go all the way to that door way, way up there where I'm much healthier. I'm unhealthy today. I can't quite get there, but I don't have to open the same door. I can open a door that's a little bit higher, a little bit healthier today, and a little bit healthier tomorrow. And over time, through millions of these present moments, your life stream starts to rise toward that higher timeline of health or whatever you've imagined for yourself, happiness, abundance, alignment, health, enlightenment, whatever it might be. But the point is understanding that you are in this body, so that takes up, 99% of your consciousness, but you're also not in this body. That body is just a tool. It's just an avatar. It's a tool and what you want to do is you want to meditate, you want to go to higher consciousness states, and you want the body to be on autopilot. You want to teach this body that every time it thinks it's going to make a healthy decision, every time it opens the refrigerator, it's going to make a healthy choice. It's not going to fall back into negative habits because you want your body on autopilot. You want your life is on autopilot, but you want your life to be on a more positive, more aligned autopilot, always making healthy decisions, always making time to stretch and breathe and meditate and relax, always being kind and generous every time you have an opportunity to be kind or generous, being a better parent. This is where you can really make changes. And it's important that you make these changes and you stay with it consistently because the higher dimensional work that we're doing, you can't be distracted every 2 seconds by a body that's out of balance or a life that's unaligned or out of balance. There's no higher dimensional, you can't anchor in higher dimensional experiences if your body, your life, your essentially your being is all, if your three-dimensional life is out of balance and unaligned and unhealthy. We're trying to, raise our consciousness, but it's our body, it's our three-dimensional life that we've created that's dragging us down. So we have to sever the ties with all the old things, look, I don't have to be the same parent that I've always been. I don't have to get angry with my kids or be frustrated or impatient or feel overwhelmed. I don't have to be that way. That's just the way I've always been. But now we're in the present moment. And in the present moment, I can choose to be a better parent. I can go to the parents' workshop and take notes and start to learn how to listen to my kids and be more optimistic and positive with my kids and make healthier choices with my kids. I'm not anchored permanently to the way I've always been. I can make new choices. I can reach up and choose higher doors. I may not be able to get all the way to where I want today, but the way I will get there is by making small incremental changes, step by step by step by step, day by day. See, the universe doesn't operate in straight lines. The universe operates in rhythms and cycles, a little bit every day, a little bit every day. Small, consistent steps are way more powerful than a giant leap with enthusiasm and intensity for a couple of days. Okay, that's great. I'm also the kind of person I like to jump in and get really enthusiastic and intense. But if you don't stay with it, it's not going to stay with you. So you've got to learn to do little small changes, tiny little wins every day, and they start to pile up over the period of weeks and months. And they really do make a difference. And many of you I know have experienced this, just the smallest little habit. And one small little habit that makes you feel healthier and more aligned, you start to widen the circle and you start to pull in other areas of your life. And all the areas of your life over time start to get balanced and aligned and healthy. That's what we want. Little changes over a long period of time. And this fourth dimensional understanding, you may or may not stay in the fourth dimension all the time. It doesn't matter. But when you journal, when you write it down, when you go into the accountability portal and say, this is what I'm going to do, you're now sovereign. You're taking control of every action that you're doing. You're starting to observe, oh, gee, that was unaligned. Why did I do that? Well, you never would have seen it was unaligned if you hadn't started doing the work to become aligned. If you got to open your mind to this, you have to accept responsibility, become self-reliant, that whatever needs to be changed in your life, no one has a magic wand and going to change it. You have to take those steps. And I thought the analogy, I don't know why I think that's important. I don't know if anyone else understood it, but this analogy of hypnotism is important because somebody else is hypnotizing you, pulling you out of your body, and then telling you to do things that this body would never have done. What we're doing is different. It's a little bit harder. We're consciously hypnotizing ourselves, if that's a possibility. We're consciously rising our mind, our thought structure to another plane which is independent of this bodily plane that we've been on. It's an independent plane. The only challenge is where the voice that we're following, and that voice usually comes from down here. So we have to raise our consciousness and really think carefully about what we want. Be careful about the instructions that we give to ourselves. There we go. That's what I wanted to share. Thoughts, comments, experiences, sharing. You're certainly welcome, John. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it. But I know some folks, I forget who it was, but a couple, I think it was more than one person mentioned that they use this fourth dimensional meditation. And you notice it's really quick. Like the fourth dimension is quick. It's just a shift in perspective. Anybody can enter this parallel dimension and look down on their own life stream. Anybody can do that because it's just a matter of shifting your perspective. When you ascend to higher dimensions, you need to bring your body along for the ride. You need to literally change your cellular structure to be healthier, more clear, more energy flow. So the reason you need that is because as you go to higher dimensions, you want to be able to anchor more light. Jane, you were talking about anchoring this magnetic, this higher dimensional magnetic feeling. Yes, the only way you can anchor, you can experience it, but if you want to hold on to it and you want to anchor it, you've got to clear all that lower stuff out.
Clear it out with good diet?
There's several. Well, first of all, the clearing space meditation, where you're just kind of dissolving these knots of tension and emotion that are anchored in your body. So that clearing space meditation is really important. That should be a regular staple. And that just makes you like a less dense version of yourself. That's part of it. The other part of it is bringing different aspects of your life into balance. Because if there's a lot of emotion or anger about work or your family or whatever it is, right? Whatever your politics, whatever you're upset about, you're holding on. Like you got to let go of that somehow. Got to find a way to let go of all that, clear that out. And then finally, the deep breathing and some other things that we do will raise your cellular vibration rate. So as you become a deep breather, you're giving your cells more oxygen, more life force, more prana, chi, whatever you want to call it, and you're raising your vibratory rate so that the clearer you are, the healthier you are, the more energy that's flowing through you, the fewer obstructions there are in your field, the more you'll be able to anchor. Anyone can experience the higher dimensional meditations, but the goal is not to experience them. The goal is to anchor them into your physical body and then bring these things that you learn from higher dimensions and kind of weave them into your everyday life so that you start to become more and more like that higher dimensional version of yourself.
I find if I do the breathing exercises before meditation, I kind of get to that space quicker and deeper, if that makes sense.
Absolutely makes sense.
It through to every day and not to react at times.
Yeah, and let me also say, you use the word every day. That's really important, because you brushed your teeth yesterday. Does that mean you're off the hook today? Of course not. You got to brush your teeth again and again and again and again, and it's never gonna stop, right? Part of being an adult, right? Oh, wow, I got to do this every day. I got to do the laundry. I have to go shopping. I have to cook the meals. Like it's part of being an adult, right? You have all these responsibilities. Meditation is just another thing that you want to do every day. Just because you meditated or brought yourself to balance and alignment today, you're not off the hook tomorrow. You got to do it again and again and again and again. And the crazy thing about this, Jane and everyone else, is that just showing up here is success.
Sure.
Just showing up is adding and compounding this habit that you're developing, literally just plugging in for a half an hour, an hour. It just builds on itself, and now it's kind of these habits kind of weave themselves into your being.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also say, my wife watches Korean dramas, and she's got me into it. And there's a lot of the Chinese dramas and Korean dramas, a lot of wisdom in those things. Um, and they said everything, what is it like? Anything that you've lost is going to be returned to you. So we can do like a quick meditation now, a fourth dimensional. And by the way, this fourth dimensional state, you may think I'm crazy, but I can see I see like the wall and the picture and the clock and the door and the closet, and like I see this, right? I see the physical things, but I also see blue skies in all directions. I also see that, like it's superimposed for me. So this visual is available to me at any time with my eyes open while I'm walking. It is difficult to maintain for me personally. It's difficult to maintain that with the grandkids and the kids and, like the mix of life. It's a little bit difficult for me, but I just want you to know you don't have to have your eyes closed to be in a blissed out state. You can get yourself into this with your eyes open and maintain that state of awareness. It's certainly possible, and it's certainly, again, the more you use your inner sight, the more your inner sight can actually become a default experience. But I wanted to say, like, now would be a really good time, of everything that you've lost, let it go. I don't need it to come back to me. I'm okay with that. Just let it go. Everything I may feel that I've lost, I don't need to sit around and wait for it to come back. I'm releasing anything that I've lost. I'm releasing any sadness or trauma that has happened to me. Just doesn't, it's okay. We'll just leave it there and let it go back into the void. I don't need to work it out for the next 20 years and immerse myself in it. I don't need to be looking for things I've already have everything I want. We have everything we want. We have everything we need. So we don't really need anything. This moment is just perfect. And it just reminded me, like, the more we regret our losses, the more we regret our mistakes, the more we hold anger or judgment over things that happened in the past. We're just become anchored to them. And I'm willing to just let all that go and start fresh in this present moment. And okay, yeah, that all happened, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't define me. I don't need to spend my whole life trying to recreate what I was or regain what someone took. I don't need all that. I'm perfectly good. And in this present moment, I've got everything I need. I'm part of the energy grid. I'm part of the light grid. I'm feeling really good. Let's move forward. Like, let's look forward to the things that we're going to do. Like, anchor up here and start pulling ourselves up instead of never being able to let go of what's down there. It's hard to do. You've got to kind of unpack it, kind of let go of things that you're ready to let go of. But eventually you got to get into the deep things and start letting it all go, letting it all go. And the best way to do that is to anchor onto something higher and start pulling yourself up. And all this stuff will either go away or it'll get agitated and disrupted. And once these subconscious things come to the surface, they have no power over you anymore. And the best way to bring all your subconscious problems to the surface is by focusing on something new. Disrupt your patterns. And the more you can disrupt your patterns in a positive way, the more these negative habits either just disappear because they weren't that important to you, or they pop up and say, hey, wait a minute, you're supposed to be angry all the time. Oh, really? That's the way I've always been? I'm not anymore, because it's not subconscious. When it's subconscious, you can't fight against it. It just controls you. But as soon as it rises to the surface, gone. And I don't need all those things. Like, I'm done. I don't need to fix everything that happened in the past. I don't need to go back and list all my mistakes. I don't need to, get the money that this guy took from me. I forget all that. Everything's okay right now. And that just anchors me more. This, I want to anchor to something more positive and better, like this workshop. It's hard to let go of stuff that you've been holding on for a long time. Like, it just seemed important. That's why if it wasn't important to you, you wouldn't have been holding on to it. So it is important to you, but it was important to you. But at some point, you just got to let it dissolve back into the void. Because if you don't, then it still sits in you and it still blocks your energy flow and defines you. One day, self-hypnosis. I'm going to look more into this hypnosis thing because it's interesting because it is to me a fourth dimensional. It's exactly defines the fourth dimensional state, except in a way that where I'm not even aware that I was there. I was there, but all I was doing was listening. Yeah, really. Yeah, just not only what doesn't serve you, but all the things you thought were so important, just done, finished. That's the old version of you. This is the present moment. You came in through that door. You're not going out through that door again. We're going to go up through this door up here. We're going to improve ourselves a little bit every day. This week's better than last week. Next week's better than this week. Just little improvements. Lance, I'll give you the floor. I'd love to hear it. We have a couple more minutes if anyone wouldn't have a problem with that. Go ahead, Lance. If you could turn your camera on,
I'm
please.
not super educated like you are on the topic, but
Can you turn your
I
camera on? Would you mind?
oh sure, yep, no
All right.
problem. I'm having a hard time figuring this all out. Camera, where are you?
It's like a microphone and a video at the bottom. But you might be on a phone.
I am on the phone.
That's all
Okay,
right. Go ahead. Oh,
there
there
we
you go.
go. There we go. Yeah, I don't have all the words for it like you do. I'm not as skilled and wit and educated, but I've gone down the self-hypnosis trail. I don't know what words to put. I've got really deep with it. I've gotten to that what you call the fourth dimension. I've done some self-guided with videos too. It seems like you're playing along with a little bit of hypnosis with your meditation, your guided meditation. It feels very similar. But I don't know what more to say on that as far as the hypnosis.
What was your goal? What was the purpose?
Um, for regulation, retraining my mind. I discovered this world through drugs and alcohol recovery. I spent 15 years in that world, and developed my own kind of, we call a program and a practice, and I went all over the place. But my main goal was to retrain my mind, to get rid of my stinking thinking, my negative thinking, my discontent, my disease, to get rid of my compulsions and my obsessions and all the things that you're talking about. It's really quite interesting that I've stumbled across you. I've been in a kind of a desert of wisdom. You know, I haven't had any mentors or a community in a bit, so I've been seeking for that. And it's kind of funny. I put that into the manifestation like 3 days ago, and here we are. You know,
Yeah, we are.
and
That's really great that that happened for you. And I hope you find like a comfortable space here. I hope this work has a certain wavelength and a certain thing, and some people are looking for something different. They're looking for a different frequency or something, or and other people, if you're able to latch on and kind of release and surrender a little bit and just kind of let the week by week happen. I hope you're able to anchor here because there's a lot more.
that's very wise. That's very good. Yes, I do. I see what you're doing. Yes, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
To not get too excited about something because then you burn out quick. You know, I saw that a lot in my recovery. You know, plenty of people would come and go, and we went to plenty of funerals, so I know where that can go. You know.
Yeah, the people that come in like too excited and just like, start, I mean, I understand their energy. Usually 9 out of 10 of them are gone a week later, because they're trying to make it something that they want. They're trying to, it's like coming to a job and telling the company how, it's your first day and you're going to tell the company how they're supposed to work. It doesn't work. They kind of have to go there, just sit back a little bit, watch, observe, learn a little bit, and if it's not a fit, then bounce out. But I think that also when people jump in and they just explode with enthusiasm and content and everything, and it's a hint to me, it's a pretty obvious sign to me that it's not a fit for them. They're looking for that. But it's every organization is a little bit different, right? Every teacher is a little bit different. But we're building, and we've been doing this meditation workshop every Friday afternoon for I'd say about 3 months at least. And, we've just kind of built our pattern. And, I used to do, meditations every morning, every night. And what happened to me is I got out of balance. Like every time if I have to do everything for everybody, like it just takes me out of balance. So I've kind of come to an understanding that I don't have to be everything. I don't have to do everything. If I can just, hit these guys with a little spin the wheel, a little bit on Friday, a little bit on Sunday. And also for those of you who are new, and I know Lance, you're brand new, but we also have some folks that are somewhat new. Our week really kicks off on Friday with this meditation workshop. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to do our parents workshop. Not a lot of people are going to be there. That's okay because we're still in like planning mode and kind of going through it mode. But we're eventually in the next month or so going to start driving a lot of people to the parents workshop. And the goal of the parents workshop is to bring the parent into balance. There's a lot of chaos in their house, and explain to them how every time your kids do something, when you jump in to fix it or correct it or explain or get frustrated, you're no longer in balance. So you kind of got to let like all of us have to do it, to bring ourselves into balance and kind of like watch the world be out of balance for a little bit and not feel like it's my job to go and fix the universe. The universe is doing just fine. But I've got to align with the universe, not with the chaos. So anyway, that's the parents workshop is every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then on Sunday mornings, that's at 10:30 Eastern, we're going to keep doing that workshop, and we're going to morph that workshop into more of a journaling, subconscious affirmation, kind of positivity, optimism kind of a workshop where we're doing the subconscious reprogramming and development and, creating habits and routines and whatnot. A little bit more fixed on that on Sunday morning. And then Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Actually, sorry about that, because not everyone is invited to that. You've got to be a member of the collective. So yeah, but Sunday night we have our members only meeting, and we really kind of do like a state of the collective every week on Sunday night. So there's that. So I just wanted to share, and then, well, I just wanted to share that with you. So our week kind of really kicks off on Friday. And the goal of this workshop, as I said in the beginning, is to remind you why you're meditating in the first place, to give you moments of alignment, to get you balanced, to get you on the right page so that when you X out, you can maintain that as best you can and then take responsibility for your morning and evening meditations, throughout the week. And no matter what happens, we're going to be here again Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern to spin the wheel again and give you more momentum to do it again. So easy does it over a long period of time. Keep plugging in. The more you plug in, the deeper the experience will be for you, the faster you'll start to accelerate your timeline. Great. Other thoughts? Comments? All right. Well, I thank you all. See some of you tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern for our parents workshop. And then if you're not going to be there, another opportunity to connect will be Sunday morning. And I'm going to have to put the Sunday morning one on the events calendar. I know it's missing from the events calendar, but thank you all for being here. Thank you for sharing and plugging in. And yeah, just stay healthy, make good decisions, and don't forget to meditate. It's very healthy. All right, guys. I love
Thank
you
you.
all. Thanks
Bye.
so much for all being here.
Bye.
I'll be back. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lance. Nice to meet you. Take care, everyone.